Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to everyone, especially to my respectful lecturer, Madam Mahani binti Muhammad, and to all my fellow audiences and my coursemate. And my name is Muhammad Isyarul Muqris bin Muhammad Ruslin. So today I'm going to talk about my meaningful object. But first, I would like to read a quote from Walt Disney, and he said that everyone was once a child. As we grow up, our personalities will change, but there is something that will remain in ourselves, which is our childhood. When I was a child, I always liked to play all the time with my sibling and my friends. There were a lot of activities and games that we played together at that time. But the most thing that we like to spend our time with is with something with a size of a book, A4 book. What do you think that I'm talking about? I'm talking about a PlayStation console. Before I explain deeper about my meaningful object, I would like to inform you guys what are the three main points that I'm going to talk about today. And the first point is the background of my meaningful object, and the second one is the revolution of this object, and the third point is my personal feelings to this object. Without wasting any more time, I would like to continue to our first point, which is the background of this object. And as you can see, I have chose my PlayStation 4 console as my meaningful object. And this console is 2 months old, and it was manufactured in Tokyo, Japan in a Sony factory. How did I get it? I bought it in Kota Baru, Kelantan. I bought it there because they offer a cheaper price compared here in Terengganu. And when I bought this console, it was like a dream come true. Yeah, because since it was launched back in 2014, it always a dream for me to own a PlayStation 4 console. And the size of this object is 10 inches, 1.2 1.5 inches tall, and 11 inches long. It has a rectangular shape, and the weight of this console is 2.5 kilograms. What is it made of? I believe it was made of with polycarbonate and aluminum. And what features it offered? It offered tons of interesting features such as self-personalized system that can allow you to change the interface according to your preference, and PlayStation app. In here they offer thousands of interesting games and other apps like Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, including the Instagram. You can play it from here. And the most important thing is a powerful processor in order to give you a very unique experience and a very responsive whenever you use it. And just now we just talked about my background, the background of this object. And now let's move on to the revolution of this object. And the PlayStation console went through a lot of changes and all revolution since it was launched in 1994. The first console, which is the PlayStation 1, it was released in December the 13th in 1994, and there were about 25.15 million units were sold back then. And in 2002, the second generation console was introduced to the public. The PlayStation 2 became the first competitors to the Microsoft Corporation, which they produced a Xbox, also a gaming console. And in 2006, the PlayStation 2 production was stopped, and 1 year later, 2007, a PlayStation 3 console was introduced. Like before, like their older brother, it became an instant sensation. As I have delivered to all of you about my first and second point, now let's move on to the last but not least point, which is the third point, and my personal view towards this object. Why it has special meaning for me? Because uh, it was the first object that I used my money, the first very expensive object that I used my own money to buy it. Before this, I worked as a sales officer in Tabung Haji Hotel Terengganu before I further my study in UNISA. And I have used half of my salary to buy this object, but I didn't regret it because it gave me a very satisfied feelings until today. Why do I feel strongly about it? Because whenever I use this console or play it, it gave me the sense of peace and enjoyment. I will forget all of my problem in the reality world, because when I play it, I will combine or be as one unit with this console, and it gives me a very sense of peace and a very enjoy moment all the times. And why do I want to share it with the class? I want to share it with the class is to inform not just about my feelings towards this object, but also to inform that the gaming industry is nowadays becoming widely accepted all around the world, not just for kids but also for adults. As you can see, there were lots of competition which involve a lot of adults to play games like CSGO, Dota, and including this PlayStation 4 console, they have a lot of competition for adults. And as for conclusion, I would like to say that everyone should cherish every object or moment were given to you or by someone who is very special to you, or you get it by yourself, by your own effort. In my opinion, if you get it by your own effort, it will give you a very more sentimental elements to you. There were a lot of pain in order to achieve it, and lastly you will get it and you will feel very satisfied with it. And I think that's all from me.